Applying distance formula. Today I am learning about distance formula so that I can compute the perimeter of polygons and the area of right triangles and rectangles. I will know that I have it when I score an 80% or above on my check for understanding. Distance formula can be used to find the perimeter of polygons. The perimeter of a polygon is equal to the sum of the length of its sides. Example 1. Find the perimeter of the parallelogram. The first thing that we need to do is determine what side lengths to find. Yes, for perimeter, we do need to know the length of each side, but if we know the properties of a parallelogram, that will save us some time. So one of the properties for a parallelogram is that the opposite sides are congruent. So that means that line segment EF is congruent to DG, and line segment ED is congruent to FG. Knowing this will keep us from having to find the length of each side, and instead we'll only need to find the length of two sides. So let's go ahead and determine what side lengths to find. I'm going to go ahead and find EF, and I know I don't need to find DG because it's the same as EF, so I'm going to go ahead and choose to find ED. And we know ED is the same as FG. So first, let's go about finding the length of EF. Notice that EF is a horizontal line, so we don't need to use a distance formula. I'm simply going to count. So starting at E, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So the length of DF is 8. So I'm going to go ahead and write that in there. So if EF is 8, then DG is also 8. So we found the length of two sides. We just have two more to go. Now, in order to find the length of the other two sides, I'm going to go ahead and find the length of ED. Now, this is a diagonal line, so I am going to have to use the distance formula. So let's go ahead and find the ordered pair. The ordered pair for E is -3, 5. And for D, it is -6, 1. Okay, so let's go ahead and write that down. We have -3, 5 and -6, 1. I'm going to go ahead and make this my x1, y1, my x2, y2. And let's go ahead and write down our distance formula. Okay, so now all we have to do is substitute those values in. Our x2 is -6 minus our x1, which is -3. Our y2 is 1 minus our y1, which is 5. Let's simplify the parentheses. -6 plus 3 is a -3. And 1 minus 5 is a -4. -3 squared is 9. And -4 squared is 16. All right, 9 plus 16 is 25. And we all know that the square root of 25 is 5. So that means that the length of ED is 5. And if ED is 5, FG is also 5. So now we can go ahead and find the perimeter of the parallelogram. So the perimeter will equal 8 plus 5 plus 8 plus 5. So the perimeter equals 26. All right, example 2, find the perimeter of the triangle. So let's go ahead and determine what lengths to find. So we don't have any vertical or horizontal lines, so we are going to have to find all side lengths. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and label my vertices so to make it easier to organize my work. So first I'll look at AB. Next, I'll look at BC, and then finally AC. So let's go ahead and find our ordered pairs. The ordered pair for A is -8, -6. For B, it is 1, 9. And for C, it is 8, 4. Okay, so let's go ahead and write down our ordered pairs for AB. So we have -8, -6, and we have 1, 9. So this is x1, y1, x2, y2. All right, let's plug it into our distance formula. Okay, so our x2 is 1 minus our x1, which is -8. Our y2 is 9 minus our y1, which is -6. Let's go ahead and simplify our parentheses. 1 plus 8 is 9. And 9 plus 6 is 15. Okay, are you? Okay, so 9 squared is 81. And 15 squared is 225. So 81 plus 225 is the square root of 306. And let's see if that will simplify. Yes, it does. So the distance equals 3 square root 34. All right, so over here we have 3 square root 34 for AB. Now let's go ahead and look at BC. We have the ordered pairs 1, 9 and 8, 4. So this is x1, y, oops, excuse me. Yes, that's right, x1, y1 and x2, y2. So let's go ahead and put it into our distance formula. Okay, so that will be 8 minus 1 squared plus 4 minus 9 squared. Let me see if I can squeeze this down here. So D equals the square root of 8 minus 1 is 7. And then 4 minus 9 is -5. All right, so 7 squared is 49. And -5 squared is 25. So 49 plus 25 gives us square root of 74. And let's see if that simplifies. And it does not. So BC is the square root of 74. Arya. And finally, let's find AC. So we have -8, -6. And we have 8, 4. So x1, y1, x2, y2. D equals, write down our distance formula. Okay, let's substitute those values in. So that'll be 8 minus -8. And that'll be 4 minus -6. We're going to simplify our parentheses. 8 plus 8 is 16. And 4 plus 6 is 10. All right, 16 squared is 256. And 10 squared is 100. So D equals the square root of 356. And let's see if that simplifies. And it does. So D equals 2 square root 89. So we have 2 square root 89. Here we go. 2 square root 89. And to find the perimeter, we're simply going to add those together. 3 square root 34 plus square root 74 plus 2 square root 89. So give me a second while I type that into my calculator. Plus square root 74 plus 2 square root 89. And that gives us 44.96 for our perimeter. Distance formula can be used to find the area of squares and rectangles. So the formula for the area of a square or a rectangle is A equals base times height, or length times width. So example 3, find the area of the rectangle. Determine what side lengths to find. So again, I'm going to label, and our base we can use as AB, and then our height BC. Remember, for a rectangle, the opposite sides are congruent. So let's first find AB, and then we will find BC. So let's go ahead and find the ordered pairs. Here are our ordered pairs. So let's go ahead and find the length of AB. The length of AB is square root of 113. Okay, now let's go ahead and find the length of BC. The length of BC is 2 square root 2. And now to find the area, we're simply going to multiply the base and the height. Okay, so that will be the square root of 113 times 2 square root 2. Let me go ahead and type that into my calculator. Square root of 113 times 2 square root 2. And that will give us the area equals 30.07 units squared. Distance formula can be used to find the area of triangles. So the area of a triangle is area equals 1/2 base times height. So example 4, find the area of the right triangle. So let's first determine what side is the base and what side is the height. So we'll call QS the base and our height RQ. So we're first going to find QS, and then we'll find RQ. So let's go ahead and find our ordered pairs. Okay, now we have our ordered pairs, so we can go ahead and find the length of QS. The length of QS is 3 square root 2. Now let's go ahead and find the length of RQ. The length of RQ is 4 square root 2. And now we just need to go ahead and find the area. So we know the area equals 1/2 our base, which is 3 square root 2, times our height, which is 4 square root 2. So now we're just going to go ahead and put it in the calculator just like that. So 1/2 times 3 square root 2 times 4 square root 2, and that equals 12. And we know with area it is square units, so that is 12 units squared.